In context, what else could the following statements by you mean? Correlate using the numbers. 1, quote, places ... with no state but constant international pressure from outside states are not valid examples of market anarchy, end quote. 2, quote, a true market anarchy has not existed ... end quote. 3, quote, if you want a floating abstraction, let's discuss how a state has to initiate force to remain a state ... end quote. Did you want to retract one of those points? Also, are you ever going to answer the questions that I ask? Or is that the tactic? You bore thinking people out of arguments with your rationalistic assertions unsupported by facts and constant evasions of inquiry. I can't even get to the more devastating line of questions because you can't or won't answer the easier ones. Further, implicitly, because you refuse, after repeated requests to deny it, that Sharia law, like the stoning to death of a female adulterer, is compatible with market anarchy. Regarding your square and circle analogy, by dropping context, yes, you would be concrete bound in excluding conceptual comparisons. For example, what if we were discussing a fenced enclosure? In both cases, you are attempting to discuss abstracts and resisting an effort to connect them to reality. Also, you continue to evade answering direct questions that attempt to connect your point to reality or related concepts. Have you been reading too much Rousseau? Why do you believe in a general will that appreciates natural rights, but are inhibited by the state? Any history or survey research to back that up? Because what I've seen demonstrates the opposite. Regarding your proposition that, quote, that only a state has the means to mass extort in order to fund war, end quote, Hatfields and McCoys, where's the state actor? From your omission, I take it that you agree that in market anarchy there is nothing to stop Al-Qaeda from providing retaliatory force services. My tactic is to cease conversations with people who make wild assertions, especially regarding my motives, and who clearly have a malevolent, arrogant attitude when discussing ideas they don't immediately agree with. X. In addition to failing repeatedly to answer direct questions, you have also made unrelated generalized statements, then later deny that you are applying those statements to the one to whom you are responding. So own up and take responsibility for your words by tying them back to reality. Who fits your description of making wild assertions, especially regarding my motives, and who clearly have a malevolent, arrogant attitude when discussing ideas they don't immediately agree with? Me? If so, say it directly and take responsibility. If in the future you lie about how you own objectivists when it comes to discussing market anarchy, I want to be able to reference unambiguously your retreat from this discussion. This concludes the reading of the facts related to XOmniverse's claim that I am irrational, bullying prick. It's up to you to decide whether or not the evidence supports that claim or not. Anybody that had the stomach to listen through all of my, what Aaron in XOmniverse would characterize as out of control, brutalizing behavior towards them, I trust in the fairness of their evaluation. In the context of the humor with which I prefer to treat such inane accusations, at this point I normally would have probably said something like, who wants next? but it appears that somebody else has already said that they would like it to be them. I think I have a squirrel story to tell.